Applying to school in the United States was a process, and it was in a way a long process, but it was all worth it. These requirements were so challenging for me, but thanks to Education USA, I had that opportunity of learning about how to go through that process, and you could prepare yourself well enough for applying to colleges here.
When you are facing something new, whether it's an environment, a new academic way, a new curriculum, you learn to adapt. You have the opportunity to immerse yourself in a truly innovative and diverse culture and to learn unique skills that are going to help you to succeed wherever you decide to do. It's something that is very unique to the United States.
Education USA is not only before you go to college, but also during your college experience. And because they are with you, they follow up with you, they want you to know you're doing good. I see myself as an example of a process that people sometimes see as impossible. It was challenging, it took some time, but it was all worth it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our today's session. We are very happy to welcome you here. That's our last session for November. My name is Aina, and I'm an EducationUSA Adviser. And today we have another interesting webinar, a webinar that we used to have with our alumni. And our today's alumni is my colleague, Ainash, from Kazakhstan. And we thought that it's going to be very interesting for you guys to know more about the program that she's been to as an alumna, and specifically about her master's in educational counseling. And we decided to invite her so she can share with us more tips about how to do a graduate degree in the United States, because we know that we have many people who are now in the process of application for their graduate degree, and we think that this information is going to be super useful for you. In the same time, I would like just to point out once again that Education USA Virtual is here to help you with your application process for any type of studies, not only graduate, but also undergrad. So if you are now challenged with the application requirements, and if you want some counseling, you are more than welcome to go to the nearest Education USA center in your region, and I'm more than sure that my colleagues can help you with that. On the same time, on our website, you can find more information on the events that we have planned for December, and you can see the agenda of all the lives that we're going to stream. Okay, so now I'll give the floor to Ainash. Maybe it's going to be useful for her to present herself. Thank you so much, Ainash, for joining us today, and thank you for sharing your story. If you can just say briefly about what you're doing and what you're studying. We already know that you are our Education USA colleague, but I think it's going to be helpful if you can just say what specifically was the program that you've had, and then we can go over all the questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Alina. Thank you for having me here. Hi, everyone, and I would be happy to be useful for you in your journey to pursue your graduate degree. My name is Aina. I have candidate is equivalent to PhD, which I gained in Kazakhstan, and I am alumni and graduated 2021 from University of Southern California. I got my master's degree in educational counseling. Nowadays, currently, I am working as in a regional Education USA team, and I am responsible for graduate education, like graduate cohort and graduate counseling. And also, I'm passionate about science, research, and so on. What else? I think also I'm doing a lot of research work, paperwork. So I'm interested in academic writing, in publishing, in reviewing, and so on and so forth. So like mostly I was studying to do what I love to do.
Perfect. Okay, so I will start with all the questions that we have prepared for you today. I'm more than sure that all of them will be really interesting. We tried, guys, to make them understandable and interesting for you, because we know that you are eager to find out more interesting tips and practical things than just some academical terms. So we will try to start with that. So the first question that we have from Aina is, what inspired you specifically to pursue your master's degree in educational counseling, and how did it influence your decision?
Personal experiences influence. Okay. My journey with career counseling or professional orientation started a long time ago. It was 2007, I think. I was 25-year-old and I was doing my PhD, and I was working closely with high school students. I was examining them. We were talking. I had a qualitative research. It means I had a lot of interviews with parents, with students, with teachers, and we tried to understand the system. And it was different. It was very different. And I was never thinking about uh, admissions process to the US universities or how it works. Then after a long period of time, a lot of different friends, a lot of colleagues asked me about having a session with their children, with their nieces, nephews, and with their relatives to help them understand their way, their journey in their education at all, at higher education after graduating high school. In Kazakhstan, we didn't have a program which was fully related to career counseling or professional orientation, or we say educational counseling. I was looking for it as I was working closely with other graduate degree students. I found out that University of Southern California gives a great opportunity to pursue a master's degree in educational counseling, and it was very practically oriented. I had I I understood that I would benefit to have 400 hours of field work. I will have an opportunity to work with high school students, with community college students, and with university students, so in different levels. So I learned a lot about the program as a whole. Then I understood that it was not, they didn't have any financial support, or I couldn't get the scholarship. So I realized that I need to find out how to sponsor myself. And we had an opportunity to apply for the our governmental scholarship. It's called Volashak, which is given for the graduate degree to pursue in high-ranked universities. And the experience that I have influenced my professional experience, I can say, influenced my decision to pursue graduate degree. You understand that I was already a professional, I was grown up, I had a family. So it was kind of not only my decision, it was a family decision to go abroad to pursue graduate degree.
Okay, and how was your family's reaction? How was your husband and son's reaction? How old was your son as at that time?
My son was my son was 10 years old at that time. So it was a kind of a very great period of time, when he's not too little and when he's not grown up like high school student, when he needs to somehow to understand, to prepare for the application to the university. So we had some period of time to stop and to think a little bit. And me and my husband thought that we could, as a family, could benefit. It will be a great opportunity for my son to be in the fully dive into English language, to be in the community. So he would benefit. He would benefit from the education abroad also. My husband had some kind of level of English. It was B1, I think. Yeah, it was kind of intermediate. And he also thought that, yes, he could stop for a little bit. He got an opportunity to switch to online work, to have some kind of online work, and to fully be devoted to the language education.
That's great.
So he thought, thanks to my husband, he supported me. I mean, like, you understand how hard for a grown-up person with a job to stop and go somewhere for 2 years. So, like, thanks to my husband, he was very supportive at that time.
I think that's one of the most important things in this specific situation. And my next question would be, how did you balance your studies with the family life, considering the fact that you were living abroad with your son and husband?
Oh, it was kind of, I think it was not hard. Uh, as I understood that 10-year-old son is already grown up enough to be fully devoted to the education. Like he had an opportunity to go to the English language courses simultaneously with his fifth grade. He was at that time at the fifth grade. He went to the fifth grade. It was elementary school in Los Angeles. So it was not middle school, it was elementary school. He had an opportunity to get his English language courses. Also, I had a lot of time with my family as we had classes only in the evening. So I was fully devoted to the family during my first part of the day. In the second part of the day, when my son came back home and my husband could stay with him at home, I went to the library, worked on my assignments and worked in the library, and then went to my classes. They were till 8 or 9 p.m. So I went back home, we had a dinner, and so again, thanks to my husband, he was supported at that time. He had his classes in the morning and he could stay. You know, like in the United States, they have a strict law. You cannot leave your children who are under 16 without old people, elderly people, like at home. They cannot stay at home for alone. So we needed to. The hardest thing was to balance, like to find a schedule which will be suitable for everyone.
That totally makes sense. And how was the research process? How did you find the accommodation? How did you find the school for your son? Was it difficult, or was that a part of the counseling from the program, from the exchange program that you've had?
Oh, thank you. It's a great question. Like the first thing when you realize that you get an offer, you find money for your education, and after you get your visas, the next thing you think like, okay, I have a flight ticket. When we come here, what will we do? The first thing we found for the first month, we got an apartment from Airbnb, and it was a kind of mistake, as I say, because it was very much expensive. I realized that there are a lot of different groups in Facebook, especially devoted to the summer period. We say sublease, when students who go for vacations, summer vacations, they gave their apartments or their personal spots in apartments for sublease for 1 month or 2 months. So it's kind of a great opportunity for those who want to find out their accommodation to stay, to understand, and to work on searching for their accommodation. And I tried from the first time, I tried to find out our groups in Facebook and WhatsApp for students who are from Kazakhstan, as me, graduate students and undergraduate students, for their support. And also I visited a lot of webinars. I was like looking for tons and tons of different webinars. Some of them were very old and where the information was not actual. So my first recommendation is to look for the webinars and to look for a kind of sessions which are fresh, like the year you're applying, as some things change and the amount of money they say it differs a lot from what I expected to be. So, and about the school in United States, it's easier about the schools. I can say when you get, the first thing is to find an apartment, to get a lease for apartment. After you get a lease, everything is done, you can say, because they give you the address of schools which this apartment is in the area of. Like you show your lease, your documents, and say we stay here, so we need to go to this or that school. The first year, my son went to the public school in the downtown of LA. We were living in the downtown of LA. I didn't know that at that time the schools in United States have ratings from 2 to 10. You understand, like 2 is not good, 10 is very good. So, and the rating is composed of from different sides. It's demographic, it's a kind of academic programs which they, an extracurricular which they give, and also the money that school spends for their different additional education for children, and so on and so forth. So the higher score, the better, we can say. But the higher score, the more expensive apartments in the list in the area, because most of people understand and want to live in the area when they have a good school. So the first school had a score of 6, but I think it was not bad, and it was a great opportunity for him to learn English. He had a very great opportunity. He stayed in school for a whole day. The first half of the day was devoted fully to the his common course, like his school course. The second part was devoted to the English language as a second language, the same course. It was Chinatown, and he went there with Chinese children. A lot of Chinese children were there. So what else? And teachers, I say, when they have a multicultural and they understand they have a lot of students who come from different countries, they are very supportive and they are very understanding.
That's good to know. And in the end, he got adjusted to everything, and he was okay. Your son, I mean.
Yes, he was okay. He had some stress. He didn't show, but I can say now when we are talking, now he's 15, he say, you don't even imagine what stress I had. He was down for like, he says, for 2 weeks in the school. Some teachers were thinking that he couldn't speak. Even they were asking him if he has some disabilities. He said no, but he was in a stress. I didn't realize, because I think I was in the stress at that time. So we didn't think about our children. We think that they are okay. They go to school, they come back. And he says, I understood like 50% of what was said. And he was very upset that he had to change his classmates, that he had to find new friends, and so on and so forth. So our children need a lot of support when you change not only cities but countries. But now I can say that he's okay with changing schools. Because in the United States, they have a system. They don't have the same class and teachers every year. Even in the elementary school, teachers and class is changed every year. Like you will not have the same classmates next year, even in the elementary school. So it's a great opportunity to somehow improve your communicative and networking skills, we can say. And one more point I wanted to mention is that in the United States, they have zero discrimination, zero language discrimination, and they have a program, School for All. And when you come, even if your child is not English language speaking, like he's not speaking English at all, he will be in the class. He will stay in the class. He will be with his classmates, with teacher. They will try to support, and he will have as much as English language hours as needed, but they will not separate him. Like we thought it will be on the English language for the first several months. They said, no, we cannot discriminate your child on the basis of language acquisition level. So he will be in the class. And he said it was the thing that helped him more than English language courses, like to stay inside the environment.
It's very important to know, I think, for those who are now in the process of researching how is the family life there. Okay, and considering the fact that you were also working, you were doing your research there as a part of the program that you were following. What challenges and rewards did you face working on a college campus, and how did it contribute to your growth?
Yes, you are right. It was a very interesting and challenging thing. As you understand, when you try to find work, it's a very complicated process in the United States. We say we understand and say that international students can work 20 hours per week on campus. Then we don't explain how to find work on campus. You go to the international office and they say, you can find out different advertisement, different information in the career center, in the student office, and so on. You go there and they say, okay, here's different opportunities that you may have. But usually they are looking for the undergraduate students. You're a graduate student. It's supposed that you will be a teaching assistant or you will be a research assistant. But when you come and it's your first year, it's your first time in the university, at the university in the United States, and you are international student, it's kind of hard to find a teaching assistant position, as they are looking for the person who graduated, who gained his undergrad degree from the United States University, from the university inside the country. So I went to the office. I had about 20 or 25, something like this, a lot of interviews. I was looking for 1 month. After you go through interview and employee says, okay, it's okay, we are good to go, we are hiring you. You need to go through the documentary process, as you need to get your social security number. And again, it's a time. I waited for it's a lot of paperwork. You need to submit your paperwork to the social department and so on and so forth. While I was waiting for the social security number and came back to my potential employee, he says, I already filled out the position. It's I couldn't wait for you, so I filled out the position. I was I was looking, but it was great because I found a place in a canteen first, and when I realized that I couldn't be hired to the canteen, I went to called an event organizing company, which are inside university. I was working as an event usher. We were working on organizing different events. It was really great job. I went to every concert. I went to every different cultural events. They have Chinese center. They have their own events. They have some Jewish center. They have their own holidays or events. They organizing. When they come to our hall. So as an event usher, I will be there. We will be organizing. We will be somehow looking that everything is planned and done to host the event. And then after it, everything is cleaned, everything is okay, we are good to go after the event. So I say, for free, I went to a lot of concerts. I was okay. And also I realized that I was the only one graduate degree student at that time working in the as an event usher. But there I talked a lot with undergraduate students. During the breaks, we were talking. I was asking them, as I was interested in application process, I was interested how they got there. I was, especially international students, I was asking them oh, did you apply? It's a great university. How did you find? How did you apply? How are you here? Do you love it? Do you like it or not? So professionally, I got a lot of experience while working. And again, it's a great financial support for our family.
Okay, good. And that was for the whole period that you've stayed there. So that was for 2 years.
No, it was not for a whole period. As you remember, it was a COVID period. it was 2020 and the COVID hit. I didn't tell you I had a great story about the COVID and how the border shut. We went for a holiday. If I have time, I can say we went for a holiday to Mexico. And we came back 15th of March. I remember that day. And 16th of March, United States closed the border. So if we stayed in the United States in Mexico for one day long, we will not have the opportunity. We wouldn't have the opportunity to come and stay, like to study, to come back, I can say. We had only our documents and cards. All the stuff, all the clothes were inside. So I started working November 2019, and the COVID hit March 2020. We were working still. We had an opportunity to work till the end of the term. And thanks to the university, at the United States, universities are very supportive. If they have their obligation, if they have they think about their students. If I'm hired, they say, okay, come. We understand that it's a very hard situation and you will be and they found an opportunity for us to work from home online. Like event usher. Event usher is the person who should be inside the event organizing, and if the campus is closed, we will not have the opportunity to work. But they say, if you're okay, wait for a little bit. We waited for 1 month. They found an opportunity for us to work online. Then I switched my work. I was working as we can say a supporter for curriculum development. All the curriculum went fully online. You remember, like all the lectures, we tried to gain new platforms to switch on Zooms and so on and so forth, support teachers, support professors, and we were working technically to support professors, organizing Zoom events, like scheduling Zoom. I had 3 professors and I was as an assistant to them. So then I was working fully online for 1 year. And I switched. After it, I had an opportunity to have a field work inside the university. I wanted to have a field work as a research assistant. And I applied for the research group who were doing their project on analyzing the cost effectiveness of policy implementation in the community college area. So I applied. Also, I went through interview, and half a year I was working as a research assistant.
That I think that was one of the most interesting positions.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
A lot. Okay, so here we have some pictures about your life, about how everything was for you. A few of them, of course. I think you have more of them, but I related to the pictures that we will share with our audience, and they can see from the campus. What cultural adjustments did your family make when transitioning to the US, and in the end, how did it enrich your family as a whole, your experience and your cultural perception about the United States, and all these adjustments?
About the cultural adjustments, of course, it's about I can say it's a positive adjustments. We didn't have any negative kind of experience in adjusting. It was really great. About the holidays, to switch holidays, it's kind of hard when you understand that you can have a holiday and you had a holiday in your country in March. For example, in Kazakhstan, we celebrate a New Year, a great holiday in the mid of March from 20s. But in the United States, it's kind of, you don't feel it. So, but it was great to celebrate Thanksgiving Day in the United States and Christmas, but they don't celebrate so much New Year, as you know. Like in the New Year, my son was waiting for New Year. He was the first year, and the second year he was waiting very much for New Year. But then we explained him. Now, when coming back, he was adjusting to not to wait for Christmas, but to wait for New Year. And about the enrichment for my son's experience, I can say that my son's view of life changed. His understanding, the picture, I can say not view, a picture of life. He became more, he understood how to treat people equally. He understood what is non-discrimination, what means to be in the multicultural area. And there, I think it was the best place when he realized his ethnicity, his roots and background. Because they are in United States, they talk a lot about the roots, where you came from, what your language is, native language, we mean. Talk to your parents, ask about the history of your family life, and so on and so forth. So here, if we talk about patriotism and so on, there he asked a lot of questions about our country's history, not in Kazakhstan, but there when we were there. Also, now he realizes that he is able to study anywhere he wants. It's not like a question for him. Like when I say, are you okay to move to go to study in Japan or any other Asian countries? He says, okay, why are you asking me? I say, but because it's another culture. He says, people are the same everywhere. If you can talk to person in your country, if you can find a way to communicate with people in your country, in your community, you are okay to go anywhere you go. So he says, like, he doesn't see any, as we are as grown-ups, see the borders, sees them, we have some kind of barriers sometimes to talk somewhere abroad. I think when children go and study abroad, they switch their mind and they don't have such barriers in their minds. It's a kind of box. I think the box has opened. He was in the box and now the box has opened and his picture of the life has changed.
And considering the fact that the master was for you, of course, we spoke a lot about your son and your husband. It's really interesting to know how did your time in the US shape your career goals, and what areas of educational counseling are you most passionate about at this moment? How you practice it?
Yeah, I'm most passionate about graduate degree. I love reading research articles. I love writing academic papers and research. I like doing research. I say, like, when you're doing research, when you see numbers and graphics, they talk a lot. They can show you the situation. And when you find out how to improve something or how to explain people where we are going, like as a human beings, it's kind of really great. And also studying, I was doing, as I say, I was doing what I love to do. I was doing research in career counseling. I was navigating and doing my capstone project in developing career counseling in Kazakhstani universities. At that time, we didn't have an opportunity. We didn't have such kind of experience developing a career counseling. And we say upgrade centers is the centers who support their alumni, the people who already graduated. That our alumni in the university should understand that they can come back home. The university will be their home for eternity. Like, you can come back, you can ask for advice, you can ask for courses, for support. As you understand, we have a lifelong philosophy. We don't stop, we learn every day, we learn for our life. And even working for 20, 30 years, there's something to learn. And the computer technology, and everything moves so fast, and we need to support our alumni. So I was doing my research there, so I was doing what I love to do, and it shaped me as a career counselor a lot. As I said, I had an opportunity to talk to international students, and I understood how much American higher education system has different faces. Any person who seeks for education in abroad in the United States, for example, can find the best fit place for him. Like if you're looking for the university with creative industry, there is a place for you. If you're looking for university with great opportunities to do research in engineering and so on, there's a place for you. If you're looking for university which is fully devoted to policies of equality or equity, there is a place for you. So you can find your place, and you can find your program. There's a huge range of programs in United States in higher education system. And when talking to international students, I found out that they had so much in common as a passion, and they differ so much. So they have their own stories. We can say their story when they wrote their motivation letters or statement of purpose. They said it was like a therapeutical session. They were trying to look deeply inside their souls. They were trying to understand why they need this, how they went this, how they got to this step when they realized that, yes, I will apply to United States. Some of them told that, oh, it was a kind of natural. My parents got an education in United States, and they even didn't know that they could do anything else. Like it was okay for them to go to have an education in the United States. Some of them didn't have even parents who could support him, as their parents didn't have a higher education even in their countries. So it really opened my mind, and I really wanted to work as a career counselor practically, not as a researcher, but I wanted to work with students to support them and to work closely on their application.
That's what you are doing now. So yeah. I think there are going to be more news to come for all those who are interested about their graduate degree, because Aina will be responsible about the regional cohort in our region, and there will be the possibility for many students to participate in that. But we'll share with you the news closer to the date of the application. Okay, and given the fact that you have so many diverse educational experiences, what are the issues do you think students face, and how do you hope to address them, let's say within the cohort that you would have? Like, what would be the struggles that the graduate students would come with at this moment when they would do an application for studies, for graduate studies in the US?
Thank you so much. It's a great question. I think the common thing for undergrad and graduate students, it's the time management. Usually we have brilliant students with brilliant ideas, with great skills, academic skills, and great language levels, but they are not good in time management. Whether they live for the last time, whether they work fully, devoted work deeply for 1 month and want to finalize everything and close this application process, I can say, and they don't want to think deeply and to somehow structure. I say you cannot work only on motivation. Motivation rises and goes down. It depends on your mood, on your health, and so on and so forth, on your family issue, but discipline. You should be disciplined, and you should understand that you're devoting some part of your life to the application process for at least this half of year, for example, or 1 year. It depends on your level of English and so on. So if you realize this, it will be easier for you and less pressure. What else is the pressure of doing a mistake? I don't know why everyone are so much afraid to make mistakes. They say, if I'm not applying, that's it. I will not do it. I will close this book. I will not try anymore. I say, I was trying to apply for, it was my third time. I applied from the third time to the graduate degree. I mean, like I applied, I got the offers, but I wanted to have a funding as I realized my situation, and I realized that it will be hard for me and my family to find out the financial uh, like opportunities from my family. I was looking for funding, and for funding, I applied for the governmental funding for this from the third time. So year by year, I was applying. I was working on my mistakes, and I was applying. I always say to my son, I always say to students whom I work with, don't be afraid of doing mistakes. Like it's natural to make a mistake. If you are not okay, if you are not satisfied with the offers that you get this year, try next year. You will have your vision. Try to find a different program. Maybe it's not about you. Maybe it's about university. The university was looking for another student, not a person you are. There is a program and university who is waiting for you and looking for you as a student, as potential student. So the pressure of making mistake and time, to be time sensitive, it's really important.
Yeah, I always point out to our students that it's not a problem to take a gap year. So definitely they need to do more. Yeah, hardworking. It's one of the most important things that they should consider when they are doing their application. And it's not a problem if you're not accepted from the first time. We have many cases and a lot of ed talks with our students that have been accepted from the second or third time, as Aina. Okay, and the last question that I would have for you. So now, I was looking back at your time in California. What is the one thing you are really especially grateful for in terms of professional and personal growth? And maybe you want to share some tips. Maybe you want to share some advices with those who are now in the process of application.
I was like, what thing you are especially grateful for? I was like, the weather. No, professional. I'm grateful for the 2 year of sun, 2 years of sun in California and ocean. Like, okay, it was a joke. As a professional, I'm grateful for understanding the diversity, social and background diversity that they have in United States. It was my first experience of visiting California. I visited like Chicago and some Central American states, but I was not visiting California before. It was my first time. And diversity, how they are sensitive about diversity, non-discrimination, how they are sensitive about giving an opportunity and doing everything to give a chance to anyone. Like when you talk to professors, I realized how strict I was being a university teacher. I was teaching before it. And I realized that we should be more friendly to students, to understand that they also are, they have their own personal life, except education, except studying at university. So also I'm grateful for people whom I met, networking. I had I can say, graduate degree in the United States, it's a great opportunity to have network. And please, when you have this network, when you get this network opportunity, don't lose it. They have the email etiquette, and try to not to forget. For example, in our country, we don't have such kind of email etiquette. Like we don't send emails in different holidays. We don't send emails like just asking how they are. We usually remember people when we need something from them. It is rude. Try to stay in touch with people whom you met during your studies. You will have a great opportunity to develop professionally. you will have a great opportunity to understand how education works. As I said, I had a opportunity to have 400 hours of field work. They gave me an opportunity to work in the high school area and community college. And I was shadowing career educational counselors there, and I had an opportunity to run some sessions, especially not one-to-one personal, but group sessions. So, and I realized how people differ, how students. It's a great experience for me as a researcher, and it's a great experience. It was great experience for me as a counselor. Yeah, I think I have answered. What
Yeah,
sun?
I think you
Super
did.
sun.
I
I
think
need
you did.
sun, especially in our country, where I now say we don't have much sun. I miss sun and ocean.
Good. That's one of the good things about California, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing all these interesting things, and thank you so much for accepting to be with us here. I really hope that all the advices that you were giving to us were useful to those who were with us today, who are alive. But in the same time, they would have the opportunity to watch this as a recording on our YouTube page. You guys, if you have some more questions, you can also write us an email, and we can put you in touch maybe with Aina with some more information about the cohort of for the graduates that she will launch soon. But there will be more details yet to come, and you should follow our website. You should follow our social media, because we will post all these details. And we think that this is going to be a really interesting project that Aina will be responsible for. She's very talented to counsel graduate students, and not only graduate but also undergrads. Thank you so much for being with us today, guys. You can go once again on our website to see more events that we have planned for December. Our next one is planned for next week, so you can go there. We have more events actually planned for graduate students specifically, so there will be some popular programs that graduate students are very interested to apply for, and there you'll find more interesting tips and insights from universities. Thank you, Aina, very much. I really appreciate your time and you sharing your experience. And you guys, I wish you a great evening. Thank you so much once again for watching us today.
Thank you so much, Alina. Thank you so much, guys, for